Maybe there is a step that you would recommend to do to begin with. Maybe there is a little ritual that you know and can suggest that if anyone who's never done anything like that would like to explore and start connecting with it, what is a good way to begin?
I would begin with dreams. I would begin with, before I go to sleep at night, I would ask for a dream from the ancestors to help me understand the challenges they had to overcome. What was the most difficult thing for them, and how I can honor them and honor what they overcame. Because feeling gratitude for our lives, we are carrying in our blood, in our DNA, all the stories of the ancestors. So all of their stories reside inside of us, and everything we're doing now, we've gotten all our strengths and gifts from them. We've earned the benefit from all the challenges they've surmounted. So I would ask them, show me maybe the gifts I've gotten from you. And we have 4 grandparents, so maybe one night I would ask my father's mother, then I'd ask my mother's mother, then I'd ask my mother's father and my father's father. I would take a different night, and I'd wait until I got a dream from them, or an understanding that of what happened to them and the gifts that I've received from them. Or if I did classical shamanic journeying, I journey and talk to them. But if you didn't do that and you were just very beginning, I would say ask for a dream to understand better the ancestral stories that you're carrying, the triumphs and the tragedies. Maybe one night for each if it's too complicated for you, but just ask for healing stories. Ask them to talk to you, ask them to connect with you, and tell you what you need to know now to help you move forward in your life, and begin a dialogue. Just because they're not physically present doesn't mean they're not with us. And it may even be that it erupts from your own inner knowing, because their memories are in your blood. But you might actually have a dream where you're connecting with an ancestral energy, and through a dream it might feel safer than if you were to first encounter it in a ceremony. So I would start with dream work and asking questions, and do the same question each night until you feel like you've gotten the answer, and then change the question the next night. The dreams are wonderful. And even daydreaming, if you're not a dreamer, some people say, I don't remember my dreams. If you don't remember your dreams, just relax and daydream, meditate, and put forth the question of meditation, and wait till an understanding will come to you, and then go with it, even if it feels imaginal, and keep a journal. Write down the information or impressions you have, or ask your parents that are alive, or if you're lucky enough to have grandparents that are living, ask them about their lives, ask questions, ask them about their parents, and ask the oldest living generation what it was like for their parents and their memories. So get family histories down and see who lived where and how they traveled and what they went through, and just different things.
And then what do I do with all this information? So 2 questions. I have so many questions as you're talking. So one question is, so if I have grandparents alive, I can collect all this information. Then what do I do with that? And the other question is, what if I have nobody? What if even that I don't know where I come from, like in the examples of adopted, people.
You can still dream. If you're adopted, I think it's a really interesting path to dream through. I mean, nowadays they have the DNA test kits. So I think if I were adopted, I might get my blood tested to see which ancestors come from where and what happens, and it is interesting to feel into that. I mean, not that it will give you all the answers, but to feel culturally. I did one of those, and I found out, I always thought my family was Italian, and I found out like I'm 30% Greek, and a lot from Turkey and Syria, Iran, Iraq, and North Africa, which I hadn't expected. I was told I was Italian, but actually it's really, North African and Asian a lot. And my great grandparents were adopted, both of them. So now, I know that's my lineage, and I've always felt an affinity with that area, the music, the food, the culture. When I arrived in Greece, my body felt like I'm home. You know, now it all makes sense to me, finding out later. So there's things we can do, very practical things you can do to kind of, but the initial experiences I had were way before I had the blood test thing that showed that. So you can collect those stories, and I would say, like, spend time with the imaginal realms, feeling into, you know, these histories of your parents, and then seek to honor them some way. See how it's impacting in your life, and find out about your own patterns and habits, the foods you're drawn to. And when you eat, thank the ancestors. They're actually eating through you. So feel like, we like this food, I'm enjoying this food, and maybe because you made this a lot, like this is something that I share with you. You know, invite them to eat with you when you're eating. And you know, I think even just doing the history of food is fascinating. Like, that is a wonderful ancestral celebration. Make an ancestral feast. You know, feel that connection and love that they have for us, because now that they're disembodied, you know, they're looking at our life with love, and call them in and ask them to support and help you, even if you don't know who they are. So like, if I was adopted, I think I would just tune in and, like, really go into my heart, go into my blood, go in and ask my blood to reveal to me what I need to know, and then follow those impulses and urges and cravings in a way, and curiosities, and explore them and celebrate the parts of ourselves. You know, I think we all are so focused on work a lot and survival that we don't celebrate a lot. And I think one of the most fascinating parts of working with ancestors is learning about how they celebrated. How did my people party? What was fun for them? How can I bring more joy and celebration into my life? And, like, have fun with your ancestors, eat with them, drink with them, you know, not necessarily alcohol, but, you know, the zest for life, the joy of life, the plants. Like, I'm in this garden now, and a lot of it I planted with my father. It was like, my father's line loved, you know, planting gardens in their spare time. They wanted to grow their food. They wanted to, it was a relaxation, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. And this connection of sticking your hands in the soil and growing something was so important. And I feel incomplete if I'm not doing that. So that's like another thing, is recognizing what makes you feel whole. And I think the ancestors they're sitting on our backs and we're not aware of it. And they're trying to say to us, give us clues all the time. So follow those impulses that maybe don't make sense, you know, even to a highly industrialized, sophisticated person. You know, it's like living in an urban life. It's like, if it's telling you go for a walk, like, watch the trees, it's your ancestors trying to help you connect to nature and connect to life in the way that they did. They had a simpler life than we did, and there are many joys. I think they can help us to be more joyful. So I would look to that. And yeah, through dreams, through food, I think it's a wonderful way. There's a lot of different, each family line is so different, so there would be different things, you know, that draw people. Some people are very, like, engineering and mechanically, they might want to build. Someone might feel a compulsion, I need to build a shed, or I need to make something, or, you know, there's different lineages. Some people are makers, some people are like, love the cooking, other people love the gardening. You know, we all have things in our line, and our hobbies are where I think the ancestors reveal themselves a lot. So I would say, explore your hobbies and invite them to come in and be with you. So, you know, there's so much joy there and so much potential, not just for looking at problems and healing our problems, but how do we experience the joy of life? You know, what's really bringing that fullness and that well-roundedness to us? You know, I think they have a lot to help us remember how to be humans, you know, instead of, you know, just, you know, in our high-tech lives. I think we've gotten very disconnected from what the earth has to give us, and the elements and nature.